All right, what is up, guys? Today we're going to dive into some of the programs that I offer. I just wanted to kind of give a brief overview of the various programs that I offer, kind of explain how I devise them and where they come about, and how they can help you, reach your goals. Um, all of my programs are based upon essentially programs that I have written for clients in the past and have seen success with. Or for myself per se. There's a few on there that have I wrote for myself back in college and had great success with, and so they're a little bit more generalized. Like they're a lot of the programs obviously made for the clients were based upon the equipment they had access to, preferences, goals, needs, etc. And so these are a lot more generalized that kind of fit anyone that can kind of go into like an anytime fitness or a hardcore gym or a home gym and still find plenty or get plenty of benefit from the programs that I offer, and find something that works for you in your schedule and your goals. So the first program that we're going to talk about is 102 Metcon circuits. This is probably my favorite program because this is simply just all the workouts that I did in the spring/summer of 2020, getting ready for my 2020 college football season. During the scamdemic, we got sent home. Obviously, everyone I was on a college campus, wasn't allowed to be on campus any longer. And so thankfully my dad had equipment in his garage. You can get pretty creative with, just a barbell, some adjustable dumbbells, a half rack, a medicine ball, a sandbag, some bands. You can get pretty creative with that stuff. And so essentially, I wrote down obviously all my workouts that summer, and so this 100 I guess I did 102 metabolic conditioning circuits that summer. So earlier that year I had gotten really into CrossFit. I really look up to Josh Bridges. I really liked the way he trained. I didn't understand CrossFit. I just liked the circuit style fashion. I was like, hey, this would be a really good idea since I need a little bit of conditioning. I really just hate going for runs. I want to get in better shape, and I need something to do since we got kicked off campus. And so that spring summer, I got really into CrossFit and essentially just like EMOMs and rounds for time and things of that nature, ladders, etc. But essentially just putting my accessories in a fashion of a circuit or something along the lines. I got in really good shape that summer. I was in freaky good shape just because I literally was doing Metcons obviously almost every fucking day for like 5 months. So that program is one of my favorites. All it is so I laid it out. You can go through it. There's a section of, I think it's AMRAPs. So you have like 10 or 10-minute AMRAPs. So you got to do it in 10 minutes or whatever. And then like EMOMs for times, ladders, and then a couple of the hero workouts that I did, like Murph, and there's a few others in there. So I really like, obviously, that because I'm the one that did it. And that's one of my favorites for sure. Going on down the line, the next one we're going to talk about is Barn Builder. This is just a classic 4-day conjugate split. This is a simple bread and butter program. You can't go wrong with traditional max effort, dynamic effort days, repeated effort method on the accessories. And then I like to keep a mix of accessories in. You run things for a week or two at a time, and then switch it out. Just keep things interesting. And then with this, since it's only a 4-day per week, it's an 8-week program. You can tag essentially like a GPP program to it, where you could just make your off days, conditioning days, cardio days, whatever, however you want to see fit. So the one thing about my programs that I guess I forgot to say before diving into them is I definitely like to create a structure. And so when you take like a 10,000 foot view of the program, you can see the structure and the format of how I do things. And essentially you can just plug and play the exercises from there. So I might have like a chest supported row, but that could be interchanged with, say, a head supported row, a seated row, a machine row, something of that nature, right? So when you look at like the structure and the format of how I do things in all of my programs, you can essentially see that when you find one or a style or a format that you like, or the structure per se, you can stay within that structure and then you just plug and play the exercises as you see fit, based upon your needs or goals or interests, things you want to try, things you need to work on or attack or bring up per se. And so that's really the way that I really like for like a structure to follow, and then within that structure, the system essentially. But within that structure and system, that's where you just interchange things, and you kind of I need this more than I need this at this time, and then you can fluctuate things, bring them up, yada yada. Um, Next program we're talking about is Bricklayer. So this program is a little bit of a spin on like block training essentially. So this is just great for powerlifters or general strength training enthusiasts. 3 days per week, prioritizing the squat, bench, and deadlift. So your 3 main days. One day is going to be a squat focused day. The next will be a bench and then a deadlift. So week 1 of the block, you're going to work up to a heavy top set of the prescribed reps. In week 2 and 3, you're going to do rep work based upon that rep max in week 1, and then in week 4 you're attempting to surpass week 1's weight at the same reps, and then you repeat it for block 2 with slightly different movements, percentages, or reps, and then again and then the accessories are laid out in a simple way, just attacking just basic compound movements, barbell rows, pull-ups, walking dumbbell lunges, dumbbell RDLs, you get it. Very simple, very laid out program. There's not a lot of fluff, not a lot of bullshit to this. It's just a really sound, simple program. The next one we're going to talk about is grind time. Wow, I just did not pronounce that correctly. This is just another classic 4-day conjugate split with a bit of a spin. So the main movements are in. Obviously, you have your max effort and your dynamic effort still. The dynamic effort on the upper days are have a little bit of twist to them, a little bit more landmine activity than most would definitely consider conjugate, mainly just because people associate conjugate with strictly powerlifting, when conjugate is a system, and if you understand how to utilize a system, you can make it work for almost anything and anyone. So maybe you're a busy parent, maybe you're a shift worker, maybe you're an entrepreneur, and you really don't have that much time to get in the gym. Like you're like, well, I don't have time. Brother, you got some time. You just need to learn how to make it. So if you really are like, okay, I only have 45 minutes, maybe maximum an hour. Even if you only have 35, I hate to tell you, if you bust your ass, you can get your workouts done in this program or any program. Alongside the main movements, you're going to have a warm-up circuit followed by your main movement and then an accessory circuit. So your warm-up is going to be about 3 exercises, and you're just going to do it in a circuit style fashion. You're going to perform your main movement, and then you're going to work into about four exercises coupled in a circuit, and you go through it fast. And the reason for this is because you don't have a lot of time. It gets you in and out, and everything is going to be tackled, from mobility, single-sided movements, hypertrophy, strength, explosiveness, you name it. I have it in there for you. It's going to tackle all your boxes in 4 days a week and get you in and out of the gym. Truthfully, like I said, you could get this done in about 35 minutes. But if you have about an hour to train, you can kind of tweak, raise your rest breaks a little bit. But the purpose of this is to truly just get you in and out. You're getting in the gym, you're getting your shit done, you're getting out, and you're going to make progress while you're doing it. The next program is called Iron Athlete, and this program is designed for athletes as an off-season or a preseason phase. When I was helping a high school out run their strength conditioning program, this is what I implemented for the football team, as well as the softball team when I was helping them. 3 days per week. Each day consists of 3 blocks filled with 3 exercises. And the reason for this is because when you train athletes, you're going to train in large groups. So you have to learn how to make sure everyone is making efficient use of the time. You have to make sure that everyone is getting quality work, and you got to make sure they're all moving. So when they're in the groups, 3 exercises. It depends upon your team size or your school classroom size, whatever. This kind of applies to more strength and conditioning coaches. You want to keep your groups moving. So with 2 to 3 exercises per block, you have one kid doing a main movement. And if it's a barbell movement that requires the use of a spotter, you have time for that kid, another kid in the group to spot, while the other, or 1 or 2 other kids are also performing exercises. And so I organize this in a full body fashion, tackling everything like kind of similar to the grind time. It's just basically in all my programs, but they're doing various mobility work, plyometrics, explosive exercises, hypertrophy exercises, strength exercises, you name it, it's in there. And so it's 9 exercises per day, essentially 3 days a week. And it's really just, it's really efficient for the kids. They enjoyed it a lot when I ran it for them because they're just constantly doing something. They know they're not wasting their time. They're not just doing useless bullshit to just break a sweat. They're actually getting quality work done. They can feel that they're actually getting better when they're, in their summer leagues or when they're on there doing their field work and things of that nature. And they're not wasting time. They know they're getting in and out, and they don't have to stress about, some long, grueling workout session that most of them aren't even worried about or don't even want to be a part of. So I had a lot of success with that one that summer. So that's a really, really good program if you're a young strength conditioning coach and need some guidance, or if you're just a strength conditioning coach and you would like to try something new. This is just my spin on it, and this is what worked for me and my high school athletes at the time. The next program is Jackhammer. If you're looking to turn into a brick shit house, this is the program. Not for the faint of heart. It is 5 days per week. It is full body every single day, and a little bit of in a conjugate style fashion, but in a different way. So day 1, 3, and 5 are your primary lifting days. Day 1 is your squat, day 3 is your bench, and day 5 is your deadlift. Day 2 is a higher intensity conditioning day, and then your day 4 is a little bit lower intensity, kind of more your steady state cardio per se type day. And so you have your main movement, and it's followed by full body accessories. So you're not necessarily doing your squat and then hitting a bunch of quads after to improve your squat. You're hitting full body every single day. I wrote this for a buddy, and he did this while he was on. Nope. I wrote this for a buddy who was alongside his. He was doing a lot of rucking at the time, and he wanted something where he was just like, I don't want my legs to be completely sore one day and then have my upper body be sore when I'm doing my rucks. I would rather just kind of do a full body kind of split, but I don't want to lift every day. So this is what I came up with. Got really good results from it. It is intense. It's like I said, you're doing a lot of work every single day. You may have to make sure that your nutrition and your recovery is in line, but it's not like it can't be done, and it's not like it's too hard or too complicated. It's just you're going to be pushing hard every single day. But again, like I said, if you want to be a brick shit house, this is the program. 2 more. Powerhouse. I would say that this one is a step up in a more challenging way from Bricklayer, a little bit more complexity. So this is a 5-day per week program opposed to the 3-day per week program of Bricklayer. And this one implements more triphasic training principles per se. So we have 2 upper days, 2 lower days, and a GBP day in the middle. And each block of this is split up. So we have an eccentric phase, an isometric phase, and a concentric phase. When we enter the concentric phase, essentially what we're trying to do is we're just trying to blow our old maxes out of the water. Like it's not even close. And so why I say this is like a step up in complexity is just because it's a little bit more than just doing squats, benches, and deadlifts. Entering the eccentric component where we're really controlling the negative requires quite a bit more focus and attention to detail than one would think. So if you've never ran a triphasic kind of program, or if you've never really done like eccentrics and isometrics, this is going to be a very challenging program, but a good one nonetheless. It's a bit more challenging, like I say, just because it's the addition of 2 days. So essentially we're gaining another pressing day, which is going to be really helpful in building the development of our upper body and aiding in the progression of our bench press. But we also have a GPP day in there where we're dragging some sleds, doing some farmer carries, and we're hitting some core. So it's just day 3, 5 days. You understand, there's just a little bit of a difference there, but similar concept. It's set up in a similar block phase where we're, hitting certain percentages of top sets and things of that nature. So really good program. Last one is Workhorse. Now this one is also a step up from Barn Builder. Similar style in a conjugate fashion. Again, traditional max effort, dynamic effort days, along with 2 conditioning days. 1 longer duration steady state. You just kind of pick a cardio machine, or you pick a modality like rucking, and you just get going. And then the other day is a higher intensity conditioning day. The thing about this one that I really like is a lot of the max effort lower movements are going to be movements that a lot of coaches simply don't program, or they just don't utilize in their training. And I like to experiment with things like that. And I had a buddy that was running 75 hard, and he wanted a pretty challenging workout regime. And so this is what I came up with for him. We did a lot of untraditional things per se, a lot of things like zerchers, kickstands, split stance for our max effort work, which again, you're not really going to see a lot of coaches programming, and plenty of other variety of movements and things that you're probably just not going to see in a lot of other coaches programs and a lot of just basic training programs. So this one is going to turn you into an absolute machine, 6 days per week. Again, we're just following a conjugate style with 2 lower body days, 2 upper body days, and the 2 conditioning days. This is a good one. This one's going to have you in really good shape, going to have you feeling good, have you strong, and have you wanting to come back for more, honestly, because once you get used to something like this and you regress in your training, the amount of days or the intensity, you'll start to feel it, and you'll notice like, man, I was really kicking ass during that time. So this is a good one. And so yeah, these are all the programs that I offer, and I just wanted to kind of dive into them so you guys had an awareness of what I'm about as a coach, trying with the experimental side of things and utilizing things I've put into practice myself or for other people that have gotten real world results, and have helped people in real time. Because that's my mission. That's all I'm here for. I just want to put out information and put out resources to help you guys get better, to help you guys reach your goals. So you're not sitting there spinning your wheels or not getting to where you want to go. Because I know how frustrating it can be. I know how challenging it can be to make progress at times. And following a really good training program can kind of help steer you clear from those issues most of the time. They're not inevitable, but a good training program kind of keeps you on track more than a bad program will. So I hope you guys are willing to check some of these out. I hope you guys are willing to give my business a chance, and take a chance on some of my programs and see what they can do for you. I would really appreciate it. And I thank you guys for all your support. If you got anything from this video, or if you've utilized any of my training programs, I ask that you share this video with friends, family, colleagues, whomever, to kind of spread the word and just tell them like, hey, if you have certain goals or this is what you're after, check this program out and it can help you. So I appreciate all your guys' help. Thank you so much.